Hey everybody, today's April 28th, and today we're going to talk about the price of Ethereum, or Ether, and we're talking about whether this recent breakout is going to continue higher, or we're going to roll over and perhaps retest this Fibonacci support level. And before we begin, please read the disclaimer, and you can pause this video as you read it. Okay, so right now Ethereum is breaking out to new highs, and this is really great because we talked about how Ether tends to lead the market in the short term, right? In the long term, everything follows Bitcoin, right? When Bitcoin comes down, everything eventually will follow Bitcoin in the longer term. But usually when we're about to see Bitcoin break out higher and lead the rest of the market, Ether tends to be the one that breaks out first and leads the market in the short term first, right? So this could be a nice foreshadowing of the price of Bitcoin perhaps going a lot higher. But we really need to see Bitcoin in the mid to long term continue up higher. We had a pretty sizable correction over the last 2 weeks, but we saw a nice bounce this week, and if we can continue going higher and break above these Fibonacci resistance level and above this medium or short-term short resistance level on the support, I can see Bitcoin going a lot higher and also giving more fuel for Ether and other altcoins to push up higher, right? But right now Ether is leading, and Ether has always looked a lot stronger in terms of compared to other cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, right? You can see that Bitcoin recently has, even though in the last 6 months it held above this short-term moving average, which is our silver line, this 50-day simple moving average, or when it came down, it bounced pretty hard right here and over here. But most recently, we failed to hold this level, and that's why we saw the price come down so hard. But now we're seeing a nice bounce, so definitely some hope that this recovery is in, and then we might continue higher. Now, if we look at Ether has never really broke below for too long, right? Even all the times it's broken below, it's found support and pushed up higher off this simple moving average, the 50-day or short-term moving average. Even since we broke out since October, like we either stayed above or we found support. And most recently, even though Bitcoin broke below this silver line or 50-day simple moving average down to the 100-day moving average, Ether still held. And in fact, we didn't even come down. We had this nice dump back in mid-April, but we've been basically above this line, right? And right now, Ether is looking very strong. Why? Because even though we had a bit of a correction over the last month, just kind of sideways action, we still held this Fibonacci level, right? And we looked in the past that whenever we hit these Fibonacci levels, they tend to act as support or resistance level, right? So we look at here back in November, we basically held tried to break through, but we failed a couple times, right? This acted as resistance, but when we finally broke through, this came down and flipped into support over here. This held as support. We went up to the next level, which was mild resistance before exploding higher, right? Then we came down, retested this, acted as support, came up here, resistance for a while before pushing up higher. This came up a little too quickly, came down, acted as support, and I've talked about in previous videos how I like to see confluences of indicators coming together because it strengthens my conviction in terms of support and resistance level. And what we have here is when price came down and we flipped this resistance into support over here, not only did we find support on the Fibonacci support level, but when this short-term moving average, the silver line, came down, we also found support on that this moving average as well. So this gave me more conviction that this was going to go higher, and it did. We came down again, we tested this support level, this moving average, pushed up higher. Now, interestingly, we did find some resistance around here, but so far we've been able to hold the Fibonacci level, and I think this breakout is basically us saying, hey, we held this level, and there's more confluence, more conviction from buyers to push the price up higher now that we've held this Fibonacci as support, right? Now, interestingly, Bitcoin has not been able to break above this Fibonacci resistance level, right? So we want to see the same thing that's happening with Ether happens at Bitcoin. We want to see this thing come up, break through this level eventually, maybe come back, retest it as support, and then push up higher, right? Because right now, this level, this Fibonacci level is resistance that we got rejected here and over here, right? These two levels. And so we want to see this flip to support like we've done with Ether, right? So this was flip to support, right? Like we flipped this resistance to support, came up here, came down, acted as support, and now we're pushing up higher. So the question is, are we going to continue up higher, or are we going to pull back and continue down lower? In my opinion, this looks like it's going to continue up higher, and we might face some resistance around 3,000 because that's round numbers tend to be psychological resistance levels, but I do think Ether will continue to push up higher, especially if Bitcoin can continue higher, right? Like I said, Ether tends to lead, but it doesn't lead for too long unless Bitcoin also follows, right? If Bitcoin rolls over and continues sideways or down, I can see Ether eventually rolling over and perhaps coming down to retest this Fibonacci level, right? But I have another video that's coming out at the same time as this video. It's talking about Bitcoin, and I talked about how I want to see Bitcoin break above this 50-day simple moving average, perhaps come up to this resistance, Fibonacci resistance level, and eventually break through. If Bitcoin can do that, Bitcoin will likely go up to 80,000 and eventually 100,000. And if that happens, for sure, Ether will continue up higher beyond 3,000, beyond 5,000, and even up to possibly 10,000, right? So Bitcoin, $100,000, if that's my long-term goal for this year, my long-term goal for Ether this year is at least $10,000. But of course, it's not going to go straight up, and it's the path up there is going to be, there's going to be a lot of corrections and traps along the way. So we'll definitely keep you updated to help you navigate this market during this incredible year. We had an incredible rally so far, and I expect this to continue higher through the remainder of the year, but keep in mind there's going to be corrections along the way, and I'll be there to try to help you navigate those corrections. But in the short term, I do expect Ether to continue towards 3,000 and perhaps break above. But just a reminder again, we want to see Bitcoin push up higher, or at least hold these levels, right? If the Bitcoin rolls over, then Ether will likely roll over as well. But for now, very bullish and optimistic on Ether or Ethereum. And yeah, we'll update you again as this price action develops, and we'll see if we can break through 3,000 in the next coming days or weeks. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please like this video, leave a comment below, and subscribe for updates. Thanks again, I appreciate your support. Have a great day.